I want to talk about this guy over here, the Mac Studio. This is the M1 Ultra with 64 GPU cores and 1 TB of SSD. So the storage is a little bit low, but everything else is pretty much max. The RAM is 64 GB as well, but I didn't want to max out the RAM and storage just to get like the CPU and GPU benchmarks. And the reason I got this one is because we're making a lot of PC builds on the channel. When I saw the live event for this Mac Studio release, I thought, am I recommending the right best bang for product for my, audience? If the Mac can do something better for the cheaper price than the Windows PCs that we're building, what am I doing, right? So I cashed out all the money I had to get one of these in to test it and really see and put it through its paces. And at the time of making this video, we have been switching over to this one for about 4 weeks, something like that. And we've tried to do everything that we usually do on the PCs. We just moved on to there and tried to just see, okay, come on, let's see if this can actually replace my PC than this one. By the way, this is like about twice the price of my PC as well, so I was expecting big things. So here's like a mid kind of after 4 weeks conclusion, and there's a few things that I haven't made up my mind about yet about this thing, and I wanted to give every single possible benefit of doubt to this Mac Studio before I kind of make up my mind and make the review of this. I've done a lot of different things on the channel. If you're familiar with this, if you've been on the channel, you can see lots of different videos, different programs, different tests between different things and what Apple was saying, CPU, GPU tests. But now I kind of need your help as well. If you're familiar with the Mac products, or maybe, maybe I'm using this wrong by some weird magical reason. Maybe I should be doing something differently, but here's some of the things that absolutely make me pull my hair out when using this guy.
Looking for a cheap way to license your Windows? Check out Whokeys through the links in the video description. Make sure to use the code TN20 to get a 30% off. Paste the license to the activation settings and you're all done. This license is for Windows 10, but you can upgrade it to Windows 11 for free. They also offer Microsoft Office 19 license. Use the same code TN20 to get a 30% off. Check out whokeys.com in the video description below.
So this video here is kind of just my thoughts, and I'm hoping to start a conversation with you in the comment section below as well, to just help me out if you know any of these issues answers, but then at the same time kind of warning people if people are already thinking about, kind of jumping into this one or not, then just some of my experience, okay? First of all, I've been using Mac laptops since however I can remember, right? And I'm using Windows PCs, so I kind of use both of the systems. And honestly, if you're thinking I'm, biased on one side or the other side, I really don't care. If money wasn't an obstacle, I'd probably use Apple and just cash out a new product like every 6 months, just because it's just simple plug and play and so on, and just would get used to the thing. But since I do have to think about a little bit like, okay, which makes more sense and which is best performance for my money, I'm using Windows PCs, towers, workstations that I've built myself, and that's what we're doing on this channel, and then using Mac laptops. I do think Apple does great laptops, but just a little comment that I honestly don't care which wins. If it does the thing better, cheaper, then I'm all switching for. Also, what's very important to note on this, like while you're hearing about this little midterm kind of experience with this Mac Studio, is my workflow. The programs I'm using are mostly Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom, and other bits that go around it, basically. But main thing that I'm using in my workflow for video editing is Premiere Pro. And every single video how I'm making, apart from this video, this is just like one camera and, cutting the one camera. Usually what happens is this is like kind of the B camera on the side, then I have a main camera and then upper camera. So you've got a 3-camera B-roll whenever I'm filming these videos, right? The main A camera that's looking straight onto me is a 6K B-roll Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Then on the side, this is Sony a7S III, and this is recording at H.264 10-bit 422. I would love to use H.265 and get high efficiency, 10-bit out of it, but I can't get 25 frames per second. Anyway, another story, another time. Sony, please fix this. And then on the top there is a Sony a6500 camera, which is 4K 8-bit 420 codecs. Okay, so there's all these different codecs. Every one of them is recording log. So, and then I've got my kind of presets where there's LUT configurations and curves and some of the things that I'm always slapping onto every single one of those cameras, and then the multi-camera kind of gets edited all in one row, and then B-roll on top of that. Apart from the talks we do with the creators, if you've seen those videos on the channel, like when we talk into some creators all around the world, there's some exciting things coming as well. I'm not sure when this is going to be released here, but there's Intel. We talked to Intel, a few awesome guys from Intel. We talked to Matthew Moniz, we talked to Jared from Jared's Tech, and so on. Then these are recorded maybe like very simple H.264 10-bit or 8-bit, and there's no color grading applied for that, just multicam there very simply. So this is like kind of my storage workflow. Then like audio comes from something like a lav microphone like that, and that gets synchronized with the rest of the things. So nothing major, but B-roll but a lot of color grading as well at the same time. So I'll get the main point out of the way first. The video editing performance in Premiere Pro and this guy in my workflow is not very good at all. I expected this to be buttery smooth, absolutely awesome at everything that I am doing, but it's simply so slow that after 2 weeks, my editor was saying, can we please switch back to the PC because this is so slow, I can't work on it. And I was like, this shouldn't be. So we tried every single thing we can think of. Like, we could probably name it, and we've thought about it. Was it the storage? Okay, maybe optimization. Trying to reload the settings, updates, everything you can think of, but it is so slow. I'm not sure if this is particularly my workflow, but it was very slow. The like timeline editing performance, you press play and it can't play it back even at quarter of a resolution. The video can't keep up with it. And I'm like, come on, what is this? This is like the latest version of Premiere Pro. Trying to figure out like, come on, what's going on here? Why aren't we getting it? And I still don't know. It's just very slow. It just can't do it. Okay, so here I was trying to record B-roll of the Mac Studio not working so well on the timeline or any of the projects that I usually edit. So we've got the Mac Studio over here, and then I've got my screen. This is basically 3-camera multicam setup for a build that is coming up on the channel, that exciting build. But if I got full screen, right, I can scrub through this. It's absolutely amazing. Like, it scrubs through 3 cameras, so that's the multicam 3, like upper, side and top, so 6K, 4K and 4K cameras, no problem. If I put it at just 1 camera and then scrub it through, I mean, look at that. That's absolutely amazing, right? And then it does the same, a little bit worse on the side camera. Waiting for it to load. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit more like it. This is 4K H.264 422 10-bit from Sony a7S III, but it's still doing quite a good job. But this is much simpler setup over here when I'm trying to record the B-roll than on my main editing there, because this is only 1080p screen, whereas previously we had a 4K screen connected to the Thunderbolt ports in the back, and then another 1080p through the HDMI and other things, which makes me think that the actual problem is somehow to do with the I/O and connectivity when lots of things have been connected to it, because like I've tried different projects and they all kind of work the same. So if you can help me out and figure out why this Mac Studio M1 Ultra absolutely maxed out isn't working because of the I/O, or what's the I/O limitations, I for the life of me can't figure out what is the actual bottleneck. My editor is editing there on the PC, so that's why we couldn't like just for this B-roll set it up over there, because you know I have to keep those videos coming, I have to keep crushing those videos. But somehow that is the bottleneck over there, and I don't know what's going on. So if you know what's going on, if you have any tips what this might be, let me know in the comment section below. Just bear in mind what I mentioned earlier about me, what was plugged in everywhere on the I/O, and so you know kind of what situation it might be. But to me at the moment, it doesn't look very... Look, this is so smooth. Scrubbing through the whole timeline, no problem. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. Is it my workflow? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. If it's my workflow, it doesn't work. In some of the simpler like edits, it kind of works okay when there's less things. But even with these like the podcast we did with other people, where there's just 3 cameras, 1080p, 4K, 1080p, something like that, it just can't play it back. It was unbelievable trying to edit these like video podcasts. Now, I did have quite a lot of things plugged in here as well. So I had pretty much every single bit of the I/O occupied. There was 2.5 gigabit LAN going in there. I had a sound card connected to the USB Type A port. Then another Type A port here was connected with the VGA to HDMI like adapter, because like one of the side rubbish old screens that I have that I used like a side screen had like a HDMI connector, something like that, so that went over there. The main 4K HDMI was connected through USB-C, so USB-C to HDMI. I have one of those cables. This is Thunderbolt, probably Thunderbolt to USB-C cable, so like video display port, that went through there. And then I had another card reader, like a big Kingston one. If you've seen on my channel, I'm using like one of those Kingston docking station card reader for the USB-C. That's pretty much it from the back. And then on the front, we had external SSD enclosures that are 10 gigabit speed USB-Cs connected to it, because that leads me to the next point, the storage. The storage is like a huge issue over here. When I'm editing, we tried editing off the external enclosures that are 10 gigabit speeds and are either macOS journaled, extended, or exFAT. Didn't make a difference for us, like pretty much the same speed. Then I tried putting all the files on like the internal super fast SSD, what Apple calls it, 7.4 gigabytes per second, something like that. I don't think the 1 terabyte version does have that type of speed there, and still the same. Editing from the desktop didn't make a difference. So the storage is like a big problem there, because I can't upgrade the storage, and the only way to upgrade the storage is through like Thunderbolt, speeds, but that only is going to give you like up to 2.6 gigabytes speeds of sequential read and writes if you get like a Thunderbolt enclosure or something like that. But that is going to be very expensive, and it's not still very fast. I'm not sure how much like of bitrate or how many megabytes per second I'm actually playing back at the same time when pressing play on the multicam edit, but it's not very upgradable. The storage, I think, is a big issue. Okay, NAS, you can get NAS as well, but that's 10 gigabit, so you're still gonna get up to 1,250 megabytes per second. So it's not that fast. So storage, I'm very disappointed. Whenever you get it, you straight away have to start thinking about storage. What are you gonna do? You can't add or upgrade your M.2 storage to faster or bigger, nothing. Now, to me, Apple had no excuse in not making this upgradable. They could have easily made an M.2, look, imagine if this just screwed off, or like you popped 2 M.2 slots in there for the NVMEs. There's no, we can't do it on, because we are running M1 chip. Of course they can, because they actually have, an empty slot in there where you can put another SSD in. So it is possible. It's just Apple chose not to do it. 8 terabytes only and this, and this is supposed to be like the pro working machine. How? I don't know. Anyway, it just puzzles me that. Storage, definitely, I've found like I need some more storage. Then another thing is that I've noticed more on the desktop. On laptop, this kind of didn't bother me, but on the desktop that I'm doing all the time on Windows is window snapping. So if you don't know what that is when you press Windows key and arrow keys, you can snap the window perfectly into like on the sides, and then you can have another window perfectly side to side, like split in half on the screen, or 4 windows open at the same time. On Mac OS, I'm sure there is some kind of third-party thing, but not built in, I don't think, where you can just easily snap the windows on Mac OS. It just feels very messy how all the windows are randomly in there. I'm constantly like spending lots of time, my OCD, dragging them all the way to the corner and to the corners to get the screen as big as you can, rather than just going full screen, because then it goes like to another display type of thing. If you press like full screen on any device, it just kind of takes you away rather than just making the display bigger. Anyway, so window snapping just is something I missed, or I was like, it's kind of missing when working with a Mac OS. Then another thing is the Command and C and V, and kind of the shortcuts are with Command rather than Control. And after using a little bit, it's not very kind of aesthetically pleasing kind of position with your hand to do the Command and C, Command and V. It's not as nice. Like, it's much more natural to go Command with your pinky finger and then pointy finger, and then go Command, Control C, Control V. It's much more natural hand position to do the shortcuts with that, rather than Command and C and Command and V. Now, I did manage to actually just go and swap those, what they're called, specific keys, or on the keyboard settings on the Mac OS, you can like change them around. Control is C and you know, whatever Alt is Control or something, just swap them out, you know. But everything else gets messed up as well. So it's just a little bit annoying for me. I didn't notice this so much on like the laptop, but when working all the time, video editing and copying files, it was very annoying. I do like the design and I like the idea of this, but at the same time, it's not quite working for my workflow. Now, I might be using some things wrong here, maybe. I'm happy to, you know, be proven wrong because I spent a lot of money on this and I'd really like it to work, and I don't want this to be a very expensive paperweight. So let me know in the comment section below if you know how I can improve this or how this can be better, or maybe it was something that I can do better. Happy with that. Also, I'd love to hear your experience if you have been using this or if you've got any experience with macOS and Apple products or something like that. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. We'll start a conversation over there. Another thing, just looking at this, the headphone jack in the back. I don't know why it's in the back and not in the front, or why don't we have another one in the front? For example, when I was using headphones, you suddenly try to look for things in the back, but then why isn't there one in the front there? Why can't we have one just in the front there as well, so we can plug stuff in straight in the front? It makes much more sense rather than having your headphones go somewhere in the back of the device. I don't know. I don't think anyone uses headphones on the PC like plugged in into the back of the PC, because it's all like on the front anyway. These just like my little 2 cents. It's not like my full review of this yet, because I'm kind of still getting my thoughts together about this and trying to make up my mind what this is like and how this is. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any tips for me, if you know any of the answers. If you have similar experience, different experience, let me know. But other than that, if you're wondering how this performs on different applications like DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, we've got both of these out now. How does it compare to 12900K or RTX 3090? Then those videos are out on the channel. And if you don't know anything at all what this Mac Studio is and how much this costs and which model this is, go check out my initial impressions and unboxing and all that on the channel. Thanks guys for watching. I'll meet you in the comment section below.